this is Group 8. My name is Jasmine Lim.
I'm Sophia Gokelberger.
I'm Carrie.
So to give a little bit of background into what kind of data sets we want to look at, we were interested in learning about how children acquire vocabulary over time. So we used the data set from the World Bank Research Group, which comprised of data of approximately 75,000 children over 29 language groups. And some variables that we were interested in were the age and sex of the children, the educational level of the mother, the language that they were using, the child's birth order, and the words that they were producing. We chose to focus mainly on data from the English language group for relevance and comprehension. So for a persuasive storytelling element, we wanted to create a word cloud in order to visualize a child's growing vocabulary over time. We used a modified Jason Davis's D3 word cloud library to make it interactive. With his implementation, the word cloud animation changed with time. Instead, we created a click me button which increments the age by 1. The body of the word cloud represents the average child's vocabulary in a specific age group. The words that populate the cloud are a representative sample of the vocabulary used in that age group, and the number of words in the cloud is representative of the average number of words used by a child in that age group. For simplicity, we used observations from the English dataset and limited our scope to age group 16 to 27 months. As we click through the word cloud, we can see that the number of vocabulary increases as age increases, and the length and breadth of the vocabulary becomes more varied. In the beginning, they know shorter words and onomatopoeia like animal sounds, but as they grow, they learn more advanced words and concepts like medicine and description. We also notice the types of words that they use more as they grow up, from food to household items.
For the following graphs, we filtered the data by demographic information. Each chart displays the child's age in months along the x-axis and the size of the child's vocabulary and number of words on the y-axis. Non-categorized data was excluded from each of the graphs. The first graph sorts the data by the child's sex. You can click on the categories in the key to highlight your selection in the graph. You can click a second time to return to the original graph. The second graph sorts the data by the child's birth order. This allows you to get an estimate of how many data points are contributed to each of the categories, as well as filter out other data when trying to view a single variable. The third graph sorts the data by the educational level of the mother. In this graph in particular, you can see a strong correlation between a higher educational level of the mother and a larger vocabulary in the child. All three of these graphs attempt to show each category of data in context with the rest of the data for summary and comparison, as well as highlighting each category for easier viewing.
For this series of graphs, we would like to see how a baby's vocabulary size grows by months and how they varies between different languages. The original dataset contains 29 languages, and we specifically focus on 8 languages that are representative of the most common world languages and contain enough information to see the trend. Starting from 16 months, babies from all countries gradually started to speak. German and Italian could be too difficult for babies, so babies in this area had not yet started. Babies speaking Mandarin seem to have the highest vocabulary size, and babies speaking Spanish, Korean, German, French have a relative lower vocabulary size. Maybe the language size is small, or the language is very difficult to start with. The overall growth is pretty linear, and babies learn more vocabulary as time passes. For some languages, such as Mandarin and Italian, their learning curve is steeper in the beginning, but the children learn less vocabulary after about 25 months. Maybe they have already learned enough words for all the necessary scenarios. Overall, for the persuasive part, we found that it's more emotional compelling and more specific. And on the other hand, the 4 visualization graph contains more information and tells the trend in a clearer way.